Oh, Ben. Good evening. We are coming to you live here from DJNTV headquarters. And it's Tuesday night with Ben Stowe, and we have the legend Ben with us. Good evening, Ben.
Hi, John. How are you?
I'm doing well, doing very, very well. We're back and doing another fabulous week of information, education, and confusion.
Yeah. Well, that's what I specialize in.
We're good at it, yes.
Yeah.
We've got an interesting show tonight. We're going to be talking about cables. But before we get to that, but we've got a few things to share already with that, the irony of tonight's show. But let's take a look at our T-shirt.
Nobody's going to believe you, you know.
I know. That's why I luckily was recording some of that so we can show the evidence a little bit. Yeah. Let's take a look at the T-shirt and then we'll get into our tonight's show. What do you got for us?
Those who saw the Peter Mary episode will recognize this shirt. It was worn by Philip, who works at NLFX, and he noticed that I was eyeing it up, I guess. You know, apparently he felt threatened, as though I might to just take his shirt. So he went and bought me one. No, he's a recent hire here, and he's just he's just off the charts smart. He's a great guy, total geek, and I think this is. He's smarter than me, and so I think he's just trying to soften the blow that I know we've hired somebody who's probably going to put me out the pasture, so he's trying to buy me off with a T-shirt. So.
Or was it when you were threatening to do the hockey thing and pulling the shirt over and?
Yeah, maybe that was it.
That
yeah.
could have been some of that. Oh, let's show you what I learned from my hockey days. Yeah.
Well, we keep going over this. I didn't play hockey.
You did so. I've seen pictures. As an adult, you have played hockey.
All right. I've played a few nights of pickup hockey.
The story can go on from there.
Yeah, well, all right, yeah.
Okay, so tonight's show, Ben, we are talking about cables, problems cables can have, and testing the cables. So let's start off. Let's start with testing cables. What is something that a person can use when you're testing a variety of different cables?
Well, as luck would have it, I have the perfect thing with us tonight, and it was in my toolbox a couple weeks ago when we did that show. And I mentioned that I think I mentioned that they're coming. Well, they're here. They are here. The latest generation of our NLFX cable tester.
Dun, dun, dun.
We took an existing design. We just made it a little bit better. We added the USB B to A, and this tests just about anything that you're going to find in an entertainer's toolkit. It's just essentially an overgrown, glorified continuity tester. It's not testing for frequency and those sorts of things, but it does a really good job of telling us what goes to what and whether or not that connection is solid. And it's indispensable, and it's incredibly affordable. This is the sales pitch, but they're only $39.99, and we're doing free shipping on them. We do have a limited supply, and I think they're going to go quick, but we'll order more. It just takes some time to get them built. But anyway, this is the best way I can think for something everybody can have. Again, nobody's going to believe you when you tell them tonight, the story of tonight. Well, I hope you did record that. I hope you did.
We did. We recorded that, and I'm going to actually. This will be our edit point where we're going to add a little bit of what we were experiencing. So let's jump to that.
I hope you didn't record me in there.
Yeah, you're in there. So let's here it is.
All right.
Oh, what happened? Do we have any audio?
I've got tons of static.
Wow, it was really muffled.
It's really static here.
Let's reconnect. So you heard that hiss out there, ladies and gentlemen, and that was we haven't had that problem before, have we, Ben?
No, we haven't, and it is the definition of irony.
So this is a old XLR microphone cable that I've had for 15 years, maybe. I don't know. Goodness gracious, I've had this thing forever. Tonight, this decided to go bye-bye on me. Ben, what do you think happened to the wire? What are some things that would have caused this, that loud hissing?
Well, first of all, I'm 250 miles away from you, so I didn't do anything to it.
That's true.
Just, well, I used the force, you know? You know, like all of us, I mean, including me, we wear out. You know, when parts get used, they wear out. Obviously, a cable has no ability to heal. If you think about what's inside of a cable, here's an example here. In most cases, it's going to be stranded copper, and this is a speaker cable, so we're looking at a fairly large conductor. But if we take something smaller, maybe, for example, a USB cable, there's 4 small conductors inside there, or an HDMI cable, there's you know, a great number of conductors inside there. A Cat5 cable has 8 conductors inside there, inside that space. And so we're talking about a thin amount of copper in there. By being stranded, which basically means we take itty bitty conductors and we twist them around, kind of into sort of, you know, like a rope, if you will. It's not braided, but it's neither here nor there. That gives it a little bit more flexibility, and copper is a flexible metal. But anytime we take a paper clip and bend it back and forth a few times, it's going to break, and sooner or later that's going to happen to our cables. And the you know, type of construction is really going to determine how much of that abuse the cable's going to take. I've literally seen Cat5 cables broken by somebody stepping on them.
Oh my!
I've seen that happen on an install. The guy steps on a Cat5 and you got to re-pull it. You know, boy, that's frustrating.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, and you know, here's just to kind of shooting from the hip here, but here's a good example. And that's why I keep this endless pile of junk around me when we shoot. I just never know what you're going to ask. But here's 2 speaker cables that we have side by side, and here we can see an inexpensive, low-cost one, and all we see is the conductors inside the rubber jacket.
Yes.
And this one here, we see there's a bunch of this fiber stuff, and it's like kind of like plastic fibers in there, and that gives it a lot more strength. It's gonna hold up to crush a lot better, and it's also going to hold up to being pulled a lot better. It's going to just make this cable last a lot longer. In fact, this one happens to be one of our NLFX Platinum Series cables, so we hope it lasts forever because we guarantee it forever. Yep. So if it doesn't, that comes out of my pocket, and I don't like that.
That's a bad thing. So
we're gonna hedge our bets up front and just make these things so they don't fail. But you know what? Everything will fail at some point, and that's, you know, 15 years is a pretty good run. And
yeah,
what specifically is wrong with your cable, I couldn't guess, but.
Yeah, it could be anything from, as you're saying, it's in the wire, or it could even be something, a connection, I suppose, inside the ends. Yeah.
If I had to guess, maybe you know, something broke with your pin 1 and your shield, and it's accepting a lot more interference. You know, the shield isn't doing its job, but it's really hard to say. It could have been an intermittent connection. Would you like to test it?
Well, actually, do you have? You know, say if I had one of those devices, or you had this wire there, how would you test it with that device?
Well, if we take a look at this thing, basically it's got a variety of connectors on it. And then here on the LEDs, it's telling us what goes from end to end. So for example, let's do a quick and easy one. Let's take a Cat5 cable. Mm-hmm. And we're going to plug this in here. And I'll just try to tuck this around so you can see what's going on. But we can see that the green LED and the amber LED are both lit up on one. And what that means is pin 1 here goes to pin 1 here, which is what we expect. And as we move through the rotary selector, we see the same thing happens all the way across. You know, all the way to 8. There's a battery checker there, by the way. It tells me if a battery in the unit's good. So 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So you say, all right, this cable's good. Good to go. That's what we expected. We expected to see 8 pins connected, and we expected to see 1 to 1, 2 to 2, and so on and so forth. Now, let's take another look at another Cat5 cable. And here we see pin 1 does not go to pin 1 on the other side.
Uh-huh.
All right. In fact, we see some kind of goofy things happen here. Now these match up, but these don't. Here, these do. Now, we might say, well, that's a bad cable, but in this case, it's not. And again, it just is telling us what's connected to what. And this is what we call a crossover cable. Now, we've gone to the liberty of labeling this particular cable crossover.
Sure.
So that if you use this where you don't want to use a crossover cable, it's not going to work, and you're not going to know why. You might say, "Well, I can't get this connection to work. I don't know why." Well, it's your cable. It's a crossover cable. If it wasn't marked and you didn't know, now in a RJ45, you can just look at the plastic connector. You can look at the color code, and if you have that memorized for T568A or B, then you would know. But most of these other cables you can't see inside, and this is a pretty quick and easy way to say, well, that's what I expected. So here's another example.
Actually, before you get too far, Ben, crossover application for a crossover cable. What would that be? Just give me a couple of.
Well, here's a quick and easy one. Without a switch to go between devices. Let's say you wanted to connect a computer to a digital signal processor that has Ethernet on board. Now, some of the modern Ethernet cards, the network interface cards on computers and these devices are auto-sensing, and they don't need a switch, and you can use a straight-through cable like that. But others required a crossover cable so that your transmit and receive pins were reversed. So transmit landed on receive on the other side, and transmit here landed on receive on this side.
I gotcha. Okay.
That's where.
Okay, neat. Very neat. I learned something new tonight again.
Yeah. As opposed to a telephone cable where they are reversed, 8 to 1, 1 to 8, and so on. But
now we just got complicated again.
Yeah. T568A and T568B are the two most common wiring schemes for Cat5 cable, and I am reasonably certain that sometime before the age of the dinosaurs I posted that on my blog, so you can go check it out.
There we go.
If it's not there, I'll get it up there quick.
Exactly. It'll be up by tomorrow morning when everyone's like, where was it? I looked last night.
Yeah, everybody wants to know. Well, yeah, if you must know, it's orange, white, orange, green, white, blue, blue, white, green, brown, white, brown. But anyway, all right, that's B. Anyway,
okay, so we were going to test some more, or show us another application.
So let's check USB. Let's see.
Now, in USB, you said there were 4 connectors in there?
Yep. I'm just trying to think of a way to do this in a way that shows up on camera. So there's my USB cable. 1 to 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3, 4 to 4. Nothing else. Good to go. Okay. Sure. So we say, yep, well, USB cable is good. So it is likely not the problem if I have a problem.
Right.
Other times this is useful is when we have like a Y adapter like this. We say, well, what's going on here? I got all kinds of stuff going on, and I want to know what goes to what. So I can just simply plug this guy in. Here I can see 1 goes to 1, 2 goes to 2, 3 goes to 3. And I can test the other one just as easily. Pull that one out, plug this one in, and we would expect to see the same. So I know that whatever comes into here comes out of both of these. It in essence splits that signal in a true Y. That's not always the case with a Y cable. For example, let's take this tip ring sleeve cable, TRS.
Yes.
This one is a 3.5 millimeter, which is the one connection missing on here. Easily solved by a 99-cent adapter, and it was going to cost a lot more than that to add it to the connector, to the tester. So he's all right, let's just do it this way. And let's see, here we can see 1 goes to 1, and 3 goes to 2. And that might confuse people a little bit, but we did put some printing on here. It kind of explains, what's going on. That's okay. The 2 is the pin here, and that's going to the ring on this side, because this is a stereo breakout. Now this one here is going to go 1 to 1 and 2 to 2. So the tip here is going to the tip here, and the sleeve is going to the sleeve. But this allows us to use this Y to send a stereo mono signal, or a dual mono. Anyway.
Sure.
I shouldn't say a stereo mono signal. It's kind of a contradiction of terms.
That would be kind of a
a stereo unbalanced signal or a dual mono.
There we go. Stereo unbalanced sounds really quite technical.
That's what we do.
That's what we do.
Yeah. If you can't dazzle them with brilliance, you should baffle them with big words. And here's another example of an RCA to a TS cable. And we would expect to see 1 to 1 and 2 to 2. And that's what we see. So we know that this is wired correctly and that it works. Other things that this thing tests are 8-pin speak-on. Some big bad daddy there. So this will even test the stuff we use with our concert touring line arrays. Tests both 3 and 5-pin XLR. So 5-pin DMX, for example. I think I've got one here. Here we go. 5-pin DMX cable. What you would again find on maybe the touring level fixtures. And I can quickly and easily test this. Didn't test this in advance, so sure hope it's good.
Now, if it wouldn't be, what would we see, or what would we not see there?
Well, for example, you might find a pin that's wired backwards. Maybe we'd say, wait, 2 is not supposed to go to 3. That's not going to work. Or we might find a pin that's empty. We'd say, well, there's no connection there. We were expecting a connection there, and maybe one of those wires has come loose. Things that happen again as these cables are used in the field and they're rolled over by carts and trunks, and people step on them and they just endure unspeakable abuse. This was in a 6-pin intercom cable, and as you can see, it was pulled clean out. It almost looks like there was never a wire attached. If you look really close, you can see the solder points.
Oh yeah, there you go.
It was pulled so clean out that it looks like, and this came from a stadium that said, hey, we need these fixed. They had 3 belt packs that need to be fixed, as these were just plucked clean by people walking around with these belt packs, and that's pulling on the cable, and the strain relief fails and pulls the thing out. That one didn't require a tester to diagnose.
Probably not so much, no.
Anyways, we got, TS cables, TRS cables. Here's an example. Maybe I want to test this XLR to a TS cable. And again, this tester will let me test anything to anything. If you felt so inclined to wire an RJ45 to a speak-on, for what reason, I don't know. But if you did, you could test it. This tester will let you do it. There we go. And here we can see that in this case, the arrow here, the green arrow, says, okay, so pin 1 here is going to both the sleeve and the ring. Well, this is a TS cable. There is no ring, so that's what we expect, because there's continuity between where would be the sleeve and the ring is only a sleeve.
Sure, okay.
Sorry if I confused anybody, but a TS cable only has a tip and a sleeve, whereas a TRS cable has a tip, a ring, and a sleeve.
There we go. Yeah, I think we can see those. Mm-hmm.
And as you can see, there is no ring here, so we would expect to find these tied together. So that's okay in our book. Really important, though, is we want to make sure 2 only goes to 2, and it does, so that's good. And then again, we'd expect to find pins 1 and 3 tied to the sleeve over here. So essentially, we have an unbalanced connection here and a balanced connection here. And whether or not that's acceptable depends on your application. But at least you know what you got.
Yeah.
Golly, of course, a standard XLR cable is pretty simple. Just we'd expect to find 1, 2, 3 to 1, 2, 3.
But now in a situation where we were getting so much static with this one, we might actually have like a situation where it's kind of shorting out across a couple of them, possibly, couldn't it?
You could absolutely find that, and that's a pretty good indicator that there's a problem. If you see, again, we're expecting to just find on that cable that you had 1 to 1, 2 to 2, and 3 to 3. Anything else is a problem. Anything else indicates that we have a problem. Now, you diagnosed it and fixed it pretty simply by just switching the cable. So it seems very likely that the other cable is the problem. Yeah, what are you using now, by the way, that's working so good?
It's this. I got this cable from this company. Where, let's see, their name is on it here somewhere. I just
enter this carefully.
Yep. Here it's this NLFX.
Yeah, I've heard of those guys.
Yeah. I don't know. It seems to work. I don't know.
Shameless plug.
I think they make wires. They put wires together. I don't.
We put magic together. pure, unadulterated magic.
For those watching, I had to go and dig into my mobile show because that's where I have all of my XLR wires for the running long microphone runs and different things. So it's like, wait a second, Ben, I've got to go dig.
And my show gets the B team.
Yes, you had the ones that I don't take out on the road. But we're better now. We're better.
Yes, we are better now. You know, it's interesting. This is a total sidebar, but I think I was sort of born to be in this industry because I'm photosensitive. I almost have to wear sunglasses on a cloudy day. And I noticed this when I shot our DVDs. Of course, in the TV studio with all the TV lights, everything. And here we've got lights in my face. And if I look dark, it's because I try to keep it as dark as I can. It drives the video people crazy, but because lights bother me. But the other problem with lights is a lot of these TV lights are still incandescent. They're not halogen, and they're hot. So I get thirsty, and I have devised a way to make myself more comfortable while I'm battling hot lights on TV,
which is important.
Yes. So I check this out. I have built a machine. I have built a device. You ready?
Yeah. Let's check this out.
All right.
Delivering Pepsi, one can at a time.
Now we gotta get some sponsorship money from Pepsi.
Yeah, we gotta hold it up a little bit more so they can see.
Yeah, I'm not partial. I don't really care what fizzy beverage it is. So
Mine's this fizzy.
You want my love, Pepsi? You got to buy it.
That's right. That's right. So Ben, one more time, the device. Where can they? If a person wants to order that from you guys, where can they go?
I tell you what. Why don't we put a link with the video? But you can get these at nlfxpro.com, or we're going to put some links up on the NLFX Facebook page. We try to not make these shows too much of an infomercial, and I guess I sort of apologetically say today kind of was. But you know what? We made these very affordable, and everybody should have one. I just can't. I can't think of something you could spend $39 on that would be better as a utility tool. Maybe a multimeter would be number 2. Maybe number 1.
Well, it depends. The Pepsi delivery machine, was that over $39?
Way over $39.
Okay, then it's still number 1.
Yeah. Plus it's not very portable. And it only works some of the time, but it worked that time, so
it was awesome. That sounds great. Yeah, we'll put a link in the description below so you guys out there can check that out. If you want to order one, you certainly can. But hopefully, just the idea of being able to test wires that fail is going to be something that will help you in your DJ business. Because, well, when things like this happen, if we wouldn't have been talking about wires, we'd have probably been looking at computer problems tonight instead of a wire.
It's last week. I got on my soapbox and had a little rant, and that was fun. I don't do that very often. I don't, So I'll just say, for the sake of getting this off my own chest, because nobody's going to believe that really happened. John and I are about 2 of the most honest Christian guys that I know. It really happened. It really happened. I swear to you. But even if it was staged, it was good TV. But the fact that it really happened it was remarkable to me. So
very funny. Yep.
Yeah. I wish you were here because I wish we were doing this in the same location because it would be fun to put this on the cable tester and demonstrate what the issue is. But anyway, I think we've got a pretty good walkthrough of what this will do. It'll test banana connections. For example, here's our banana connection there.
Oh yeah.
And down here is just some instructions. Again, this wasn't our idea. There's lots of cable testers out there. We just took an idea, made it just one connector better, and tried to make it affordable so everybody could put it in their toolkit. And we hope to put it in yours.
Yeah, sounds great. We'll put links in the description below. Go check out our Facebook page. We go to Facebook and type in Tuesday Night with Ben Stowe. Find the page, like the page, show them some love out there. That would be awesome.
Need the love.
Need the love. But
Pepsi's not going to send me any.
Probably not. No, you'll have to be buying your Pepsi next week. And if Coke's on sale,
you know what? I can just see the response from Pepsi right now. 50 cents and our endorsement will get you a can.
That'll be great.
So,
Oh, good stuff. Well, Ben, thank you very much for the kind of walkthrough on how to test cables tonight.
thanks, John.
All right, this is John Young with the Disc Jockey News and Disc Jockey News TV on Tuesday night with Ben Stowe. Good night.